Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Matt Dorkus.
We got a bit of internet interruption. Internet interruption. We're good. We're back.
We're back. Hello. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Dorkus and I are both good. Yeah, I can hear you.
Wait.
Seems like there's a delay.
Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Matt Dorkus.
Dorkus and I are both going into this story completely new with almost no knowledge of the story or world. Each segment will cover what happens in each new chapter while discussing our experience along the way.
This is The Hero of Ages. It's all in the pages, a blind read-through. And today we are covering Chapter 53.
Chapter 53.
Hi, Kitty. How are you?
All good, and you?
I'm good. Had a productive week-ish. I've got a couple different projects for the channel I'm tentatively working on. I don't want to make promises, but I am looking to make more content, so we'll see what happens in the future.
Look out for it. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah. How about you, Kitty?
I streamed a week ago. Well, last week. Yeah, but by the time this comes out, it'll be a while. But hopefully, I'll be in a routine of streaming weekly. But again,
do it,
or publishing some sort of content weekly. Yes, do it. Yes,
yay! Good. Well, this was quite the chapter.
Yes, I cannot wait to get into it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed quite a bit of it.
I was worried by the end. You know, it was really ominous at the end.
Quite. It feels like we kind of know where this is heading, at least what confrontations will be coming.
Yeah. So I'm worried by the end, but that makes it a good chapter.
Yeah. There's a lot that's potentially promising, a lot that's potentially concerning, and the thing I think kind of influences me a bit, but it's fine. I'm still enjoying the ride.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So is it anywhere nearer? I need to know this thing eventually.
This thing strikes me more as an epilogue post-book thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't imagine it actually happening in the book, but I can absolutely see us being told it happened in the epilogue or something like that. Okay.
Well, I am not putting any energy into trying to figure it out. I'm just going along. So.
Excellent. So the epigraph gives us a tiny bit of information about ruin and preservation working together, this bit about rules. So they need each other to create. It seems that there has been a pact between them, an agreement. Preservation as a concept does not strike me as something that can create. It strikes me as something that preserves what already exists, right?
Yeah.
And I guess you can say that ruin can create in the sense that when it destroys something, it creates something new in the process. Sort of. It if you want to look at it that way.
But it can't create from nothing. It needs something to destroy.
Right. So the reason I'm sort of defining these here is because I struggle to conceptualize how preservation comes into the equation where creation comes in, if that makes sense. Just as a topic to imagine and think on. I'm not critiquing the novel or the choice of preservation as a concept. It's just something I'm thinking about.
I like the idea that they can't do it alone. So if they strike some sort of balance, then they can create. And also we are ascribing these rigid definitions to preservation and ruin, whereas we don't really know what their abilities are. But what this epigraph does say is basically that, I suppose, if they're just pure nature, so they can't, if they were just left by themselves, it would be that preservation just needs something to preserve and will only preserve. Ruin needs something to ruin and can only ruin. But together they're able to create. I think that's the main thing we just need to understand, that again, it brings back that whole theme of balance between the two, making create, because you do need creation for either of them to really thrive, because if nothing's created, you can't ruin it. If nothing's created, you can't preserve it.
Right. And then at that point, I kind of feel as if neither of them are the one that's doing any sort of creating. It's the hero of ages that does the creating. And because it's the powers of preservation and ruin that are being used, they just kind of come along and take credit for it.
Yeah, they need like a conduit, a channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm imagining.
Mm-hmm.
Within this game, both understand that neither will be fully satisfied. Preservation can't basically freeze things forever. And ruin can't permanently destroy everything. And eventually ruin somehow finds a way to win and destroy everything, though doing so isn't part of the initial bargain, as the epigraph says. My mind kind of goes to this idea that victory would be fleeting, because once you destroy everything, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
You can't really create to destroy again. Are you just going to exist in a perfect state of nothingness in perpetuity? I don't think that's what would happen. I feel like ruin would just be in the universe alone.
Yeah, like, well done. And how long does it, I suppose maybe the satisfaction of gods continues forever, and they're happy. It's victory forever. They don't need more.
Yeah.
Did you feel any sort of like ominous stuff but then that wasn't originally part of the bargain, which is like, I'm thinking, okay, cool. There's more. What will preservation do now? Because ruin has gone out of the bargain. What can preservation do? The bargain has been broken. The trust has been broken. The agreement has been broken. What do we do now? What can preservation do?
Right. Well, hear me out insofar as timeline goes. If ruin and preservation are initially working together to create and destroy, why would ruin need to be imprisoned if he's a willing participant? So I kind of get the sense maybe that ruin was working to subvert the deal and destroy everything. And so ruin was imprisoned. And with ruin imprisoned, that allowed preservation to run amok. Maybe within the confines of the deal, maybe not within the confines. Maybe preservation thought, well, if he broke the rules, I'm going to break the rules now too. So, although arguably someone isn't breaking the rules if they're adhering to what was the number? It's not 16%, is it? From the number chapters?
I'm not too sure, but I know 16 is the significant number, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the number is that Elend is contemplating currently, if whatever power is still honoring that numerical agreement, then that kind of puts to bed the idea that one side could be also breaking the rules. I feel like I was so unclear with that. I apologize. I don't know, but for the moment, I'm going with the theory that Ruin wasn't imprisoned, he broke the rules, they imprisoned him because of it, and thus preservation ran amok.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Let's go.
We are in the catacombs, the cavern, the cache, if you will, and Beldre is looking out over the lake. They aren't pretending that it doesn't exist. They pretty much just brought her straight down. We did wonder about that, if I recall.
Yeah.
I think by showing her, that signals they have absolutely no intention of letting her go. In fact, it is more dangerous to do so now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I guess you can keep her contained in there a little bit better unless she finds some escape route.
True.
Dangerous escape route, but I don't think she's that kind of person.
I agree. I don't think she's acting when she's being all innocent. I think that's very genuine.
Yeah. And the fact that is mentioned by Spook makes me more confident about it because he's very observant.
Yes. Sazed and the soldiers are working on the water project, and Spook approaches with some tea. It's very sweet. He's so nice. And it notes that even though the tea is burning his hands, the pewter allows him to see reasonably well. Rephrase, the pewter allows him to handle his new sight well enough to not need the bandages over his eyes.
Yeah.
And I wrote in the notes, handsome Spook.
Because we can see him now. Yeah.
Yeah. And Beldre can see him now. So there you go. With that, Beldre jumps at his approach, and it's kind of glossed over, but I feel like the point of that is to subtly say that Spook moves very quietly.
Yeah. And she's also she's not like Vin. She doesn't have this hypervigilance as well. So she's not listening. Well, she does have hypervigilance because she gets a fright, but she is not detecting him either. So it performs both functions there. It shows that she's innocent and he is sneaky.
Yeah. I think in a way that maybe Spook doesn't even realize. But I really think that that's not too emphasized in these passages. I think it's just my interpretation and what I know of Spook.
And he had to clear his throat so that it's not good of him that he didn't just walk up and start talking. She's like,
yeah. Spook thinks that Beldre is normal. She is what people would be like if not for the woes of the world. And he envies it. So I think that's a big amount of what Spook sees in Beldre that he finds so attractive.
Yeah, it's this innocence, this untouchedness, even though she is in a horrible world now. But it's like she's not used to this. She doesn't deserve this world. So
yeah. And it lives in sort of a weird space, I think purposefully. And I mean weird to mean full of depth, I think, in the sense that Spook's big thing, particularly emphasized by the end of this chapter, is being like Kelsier, being loved and admired, etc. In the normal world, he would not necessarily have the opportunity to excel in the way that he thinks he wants.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. He would be a fundamentally different person. So here he is, both wanting and loving the opportunity he has been afforded here in Urtio to be like Kelsier, but also lament that he has to be like Kelsier.
Yeah. In a normal world, he wouldn't have to be.
I think part of why I said weird earlier is because I don't yet believe I buy that Spook wants a normal world.
Yeah.
I don't think that has been emphasized in his writing up to this point.
Yeah, it's just here with this that he envies her. And he says it's a strange feeling, or thinks it's a strange feeling because he's been wishing that he was someone more important. So being normal is just, it's not desirable to him. You know, that's like, normal can be a good thing. There's a lot of strife that comes with being abnormal. So I can understand envying just ordinariness, I suppose. But yeah, I think this is just being introduced here. This, like you said, I haven't gotten that idea from him previously. Yeah.
Right. Now there's still time, and this could be where that starts to be emphasized. But again, we're kind of reaching the end of the book. So I don't know how much time Sanderson would be able to allocate to that.
Maybe it's just a fleeting feeling. It doesn't have to be a developing thing. Yeah.
Sure. Beldre takes the cup.
Well, he says that it's cold down here, and he gives her a mug. He gives her the tea to keep her warm.
Yeah, it's so sweet. He's making an effort. he finds it easier to have spoken to her in the garden than it is here. And I think a big part of that is that there was that adrenaline, tension, danger in the garden.
The drama.
The drama of it, yeah. Whereas here, it's a lot more quiet. It's a lot less intense and time sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is really the first time that I think he intends to show a bit of vulnerability, even if he kind of chastises himself later on for being like, why did you say all that?
Mm-hmm.
He went in intending to say a lot of what he said, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Beldre thinks Quellion would have loved to find this cache because obviously the agricultural status of the world is not doing too well right now. When I was first reading this, I was overwhelmed with a sense of the cache is a temporary solution that would not solve Quellion's problems.
And I think Quellion would just use it as another method of control.
1000%, yeah. Mm-hmm. Spook comments about how the mists aren't letting enough sunlight through for the plants, and I wrote plant microbes important, and I don't remember why. But the contents of the last few epigraphs were on my mind there, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just about the microbes, the microbe levels, and the rate of the microbes breaking ash down. Yeah, it is important. Thanks, Dorkus.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say. Spook says, I'm sorry. I considered kidnapping you from those gardens, but decided against it. However, with you showing up here alone...
It was just too good an opportunity. I understand. It's my own fault. My brother always says I'm too trusting.
I'm glad that he communicated that, and I kind of feel like this is, in fact, Spook/Sanderson having his cake and eating it too, in a successful sort of way. He was able to let Spook be the good guy while giving him a pretty good justification for gaining the benefits of quote-unquote kidnapping her.
Yeah, without actually doing it. But now he at least is apologizing that now he's had to take advantage of it. Like, you showed up here, I'm sorry. I had to keep you in here. Like, I considered it, I sided against it, but now that you're in front of me and you brought, it was an opportunity I couldn't waste, and she understands that.
Yes. And when she said, I'm too trusting, I wrote opposite of Vin.
Mm-hmm. Absolute opposite.
Yeah, and that's something that kind of gets explored a little bit later on in the chapter as well, but I think it's neat that Spook becomes infatuated with someone who is very much the opposite of Vin.
Yeah.
Beldre does have the very sad line.
It seems my entire life I've just trusted and been hurt. This is no different.
That's a pretty sad belief statement.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh, well, I trust and people just let me down. That's just how it goes.
And yet she continues to be a trustful person, seemingly, which suggests a wholesome spirit.
Yeah, wholesome spirit. Maybe a bit of naivete.
Yeah.
But she still just wants to. It's like yes, it seems like there is just a want to trust. She knows that should be it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Spook does say there are times where being too trusting would be an advantage. And I did think about that. I was like, well, it being able to trust at any point is a good thing because you don't have to put effort into it the way Vin had to. She had to like stop herself from being mistrustful and distrusting.
Yeah.
That would make it an advantage. But yeah, that seems like it's an advantage to everyone else otherwise.
I say trust those who are trustworthy and don't trust those who aren't.
Yeah. But she defaults to trust. If she doesn't know you, she'll just trust you first, and then she'll find out.
Yeah. Spook thinks to Kelsier, asking him what to say, and we get the line, yet God remained silent.
Yeah, God now? That was just casual. You think that's just casual? We just slipped that in there. Spook, how long have you been thinking of him as God? And obviously it's a nice throwback to Zane, because that's what Zane called him.
Yeah. Yeah. Please don't do that, Spook. I mean,
I have it already.
I get why he would, but it's just tragic to read.
No, but he knows it's Calcia. Why must it be God? Calcia's not. But then
Yeah.
again, because Calcia's done some miracle things. But I still think I would think of Calcia as a god, not God. You know, not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. And it does make me excited for when Tensoon shows up.
Mm-hmm.
We get the line after that, the survivor didn't seem to have much advice about things that didn't relate to securing the city. So beyond the fact that that should be a little bit of a red flag for Spook, although not a deal breaker to be certain, I wrote, this will backfire on Ruin. And then something that I can't quite read. But the idea behind that is this. Spook is clearly going to have to decide between Beldre and Ruin, between power and love. His thing will be walking away from power. And as emphasized later on in this chapter, and it is a shortcoming of Ruin's that Ruin does not assist, for lack of a better term, or comment on the Beldre relationship. Because if he does do the subtle, yeah, Beldre will totally be into you if you just do X, Y, and Z, he's going to open up an opportunity for Spook to say, wait a second, something's off about you, and I don't trust it.
Yeah.
So it's taken me miles to get back to the very simple point, which is to say that Ruin is going to play himself pretty handily by not doing what he can to set Spook apart from Beldre, under the guise of getting her, of course.
Yeah.
Especially since Spook is already primed for, Beldre will like me if I'm like Kelsier. Like, that's already a part of Spook. Sorry, I'm monologuing, Kitty. I know you have stuff to say. If Ruin would just do that a little bit, I think that could tip the balance in Ruin's favor when it comes to picking between Beldre and Ruin.
No, I agree with that. But another thing that we are also noticing here is a weakness of Ruin is he can't actually read their thoughts. So him talking directly to Ruin doesn't matter. Like him saying, Calcia, tell me what to say. He doesn't even know. Ruin doesn't even know that he's asking, you know? And also he doesn't know that he would have to think about, Ruin would have to think about and study Spook to figure out his inner thoughts about Beldre as well. I'm not saying it's that Ruin can't do it. I'm just saying there's a lot that this is where the benefit of Ruin not being able to read thoughts comes out, because he can't press that button. You know, he doesn't see it.
Very much so. And it is a character flaw of Ruin's that he doesn't see the potential danger of Beldre here. It's very much, he doesn't need to be able to sense Spook's thought to understand that very human motivation of being able to walk away from power for the sake of love. Anyway, that's my tangent on that. Then we get a bit of backstory from Beldre. She was the ideal noblewoman. She loved the Lord Ruler and the Obligators. She would call them for every little thing. They would tutor her in history. Super great. And then they tried to kill her. And essentially, her father and mother couldn't have kids. So they both kind of agreed, yeah, we'll get a Ska to take care of it. And Beldre doesn't really understand why they went with a Ska instead of a low-tier noblewoman. Nevertheless, they did go with the Ska. At this point, Spook interjects, says that it was his grandfather and he grew up on the streets. So they're bonding. I'm all for it. It's about time, I think, they had an extended discussion.
Yeah, like just a real normal conversation about themselves.
Yeah. Beldre kind of wishes she had grown up on the streets, which is a very much a grass is always greener idea. But no, dear, you do not wish that.
No, you don't. It's, you know, it's an innocent. Sometimes I wish, because then they wouldn't have come to kill me. You know, but then you would could have just been killed as a normal Scar because Scar are disposable.
Yeah, especially female ones. Look how
Yeah.
hard a time Vin had, and Vin was special.
Yeah, exactly.
The really sad thing is how much she emphasizes the priests, the people she trusted and adored more than her own parents came to kill her, and she just went with them. That's pretty sad.
Well, she couldn't do anything to them, I suppose.
Yeah. And then it just so happens that that was the day that the rebellion occurred, and suddenly the obligators were trying to gain favor with Straff, and everyone just kind of forgot about her.
Mm-hmm.
Great timing.
Great timing. And she sees it as, like the way that she phrases it, she says, "You saved me, the survivors crew." So she means the survivors crew, but she includes him in that.
Yes. So she seems to have a very, from Spook's perspective, inflated opinion of Spook's contributions.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems to be very much in opposition to Quellian's, which he said, they're just making it up.
Yeah, so she believes him.
She goes on to say she thought that Quellian would be a good ruler, but the things he's doing and the things he asks of people, she cuts off, but essentially she's saying it's quite terrible. And then that contrasts with Spook, who rescued the child right in front of them and going to the garden and not threatening her. She really hopes that Spook is the man she thinks he is, that the crew are the people she thinks they are.
Yeah, and that it's more of an explanation of why she came to them.
Yeah.
You know, why she went, because it's like, oh, well, that was going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. But it's like, no, she wanted help. She thought, you know what, this is how I can keep my brother alive, and they're good people, again, with the trusting.
Yeah. Spook wishes he could let her go, but this is for the greater good, he says. And that's what they all say. Even Beldray's like, yeah, that's what my brother says.
Yeah.
And that's the trap, and that does set the foundation for Beldray asking Spook to walk away from power, which sort of happens. It starts to happen a little bit later, but we'll get to that moment.
Yeah.
She does say that Spook and Quellian are a lot alike, forceful and commanding, to which Spook says, "You really don't know me very well, do you?" And first off, the Spook that Beldray has seen has been a very effective Spook. I don't think Spook realizes quite how much he's grown. I think he kind of gets it, but he isn't quite there yet.
He hasn't accepted the growth. He hasn't realized it. He hasn't stopped to go, oh, I did that. I did good things. He's got excuses for all of his growth.
Yeah. He just doesn't see it yet himself. Spook explains that he became a member of the crew by accident. He basically recounts that, how he basically was just a tag-along to clubs and he was treated like a servant. At this point, we get a couple of passages of Spook recounting the history about his Eastern Street slang. No one could understand him, so he was quiet. This and like one other paragraph in this chapter I didn't like, because it gave me that obtrusive recappy vibe. I understand that the bulk of this has to be communicated between the two of them, but there is also that element of this is stuff that we know really well by now. We're almost done with the final book in the trilogy.
No, I forgive it because it is absolutely necessary for him to explain it. And we need to see how he phrases it and all of that. So like, it's not for us. It's for Beldray. How is he going to tell his story to Beldray? How does he frame it? It's a couple lines. You're nitpicking.
Perhaps. Beldray thinks that he's in charge of them all, but Spook explains, no, it's Sazed. He and Breeze outrank him, but Breeze doesn't like to be in charge and Sazed doesn't want to. And that just leaves him.
Again, that's what I mean by excuses. He's got excuses for his growth. It's just, if they were just defaulting to, if he was not active in being different, they wouldn't have defaulted to letting him take over obviously, you've just told us how you were just ignored. But clearly you've made sure that you're not ignored here, and that's why you're in control. So yes, Breeze that likes to delegate, and Sazed's busy, but Sazed's also given you control, and that is progress. That is different. And that is on you, Spook. He was active in that. It's not that it just fell upon him. He took the opportunity.
Very true. Yeah. What matters? The guy that has the edict naming him in charge, or the guy who's actually doing the things and essentially making the choices?
Yeah. But he still dismisses that. He's like, well, somehow I'm sure I'm just doing what Breeze wants me to do anyway.
Yeah. And that more or less ends what I felt to be the clunky segment of the chapter. Beldre notes that this cavern must have been why they came. She didn't know why Elend would have been so interested in Urtio, but now it makes sense. And Spook also goes on to say, yeah, an anti-noble rebellion very close to Luthadel is not a good thing either.
Yeah, you can't just let that fly.
Yeah. And again, Spook re-emphasizes, I'm just the guy that they could spare to send here. And Beldre gives the line,
they are wrong to treat you so.
They're so cute together. I ship it.
Yeah, you do.
And Spook denies it. I mean, yes, they are wrong to treat him so. I've spoken at length as to how and why they are wrong to treat him as so. But Spook undercuts it with, no, it's all right. I've enjoyed being up here. It feels like I've finally been able to do something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And the fact that you have been able to do something is a good thing. Take note of it. Don't ignore it.
Yes, and you've risen to the challenge in many, many ways. And there is a part of me that gets super defensive and is like, don't accept their scraps. But not in any serious degree.
Oh, yeah.
Beldre asks what they're like, and we get Beldre saying what she has heard about Vin and Elend. The stories she's heard, that he wears white and the ash refuses to stick to him, and so on. So I wrote to myself, better because generic POV. What I mean by that is it stands in contrast to what I felt was clunky exposition, in the sense that this serves the function of telling us how the populace, the general populace, perceives Vin and Elend, rather than those in the crew and those who are enemies who know them.
Yeah.
This is stuff that we've gotten before, or ideas, but functionally of a different purpose, if that makes sense. So I didn't mind it here.
And she seems in awe of them, obviously, because of the reputation. And then it seems like Spook actually tones it down and pops her bubble there. Bursts her bubble. Sorry.
Yeah. Elend is a forgetful scholar who only dresses well because a terrace woman bought him the clothes. But Vin really is special. Sometimes she can be frail, other times she kills inquisitors. And then he says the line.
Hold on, before you get there. Okay. This bit about Elend came off as bitter to me, because I understand that this is his perception of Elend as he last saw him, really. Oh no, it's only because the terrace woman gave him clothes, whatever. He's a forgetful scholar. He forgets about the meetings he's called or whatever. So he's completely missed Elend's growth, obviously, and that's no fault of his own. But it's nice for him to think of Elend as flawed, and I think he likes leaning into that a bit. And especially the way he goes, because a terrace woman bought him a new wardrobe. It's the way that's phrased is a bit flippant. And then he says war has changed him some, but on the inside I think he's still a dreamer caught in a world with too much violence. That could be true, but he's hardened a lot. He is deep down, very, very deep down now, he's a dreamer caught in a world with too much violence, but he's had to fight with that dreamerness and see reality. There's so much that Spook has missed here, and I think bitterness would make him forget and not want to look at that.
I didn't get quite as much bitterness as you seem to have, but I do sincerely agree with everything you've said in that, yeah, he has kind of disregarded the extent of Ellen's growth.
But he can't know it. So it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, especially since he's been away for quite some time as well. And then we get the line, I tried to court her once, and I wrote, no.
Wait, don't mention it.
Spook, don't tell the girl you like about all the other girls you have liked.
I feel like telling her this is...
It works out for him.
Yeah, he's trying to... It's confidence as well. It's like, hey, I could have got her, I tried. So, like, it puts him forward as actually, yeah, I even tried to court her once. And I don't know, it can work in different ways. It's not that... I think bringing it up also brings up the idea of courtship and romance, which he wants to talk about. So, yeah.
Yeah. He says, I gave her a handkerchief. I heard that's how you do it in noble society.
Only if you're a romantic.
Beldray said, smiling wistfully. I wrote, ah.
Yeah, so this works for him. He gets to show how he would court someone, and she gets to think of him as romantic.
Romantic and noble in the not bloodline sense, but the essence of what noble means sense. And you pair that with Beldray's, I loved noble society. I loved the Lord Ruler. I loved the obligators and society. It's just like teeing the two of them up to really fit each other well. It works.
Yeah, well, then he screws it up.
Yep. He basically explains how it failed. And we get the line, I mean, I'm just Spook. Quiet, incomprehensible, forgettable Spook. And thank you, Mr. Sanderson. I've had Mr. Cellophane playing in my head all week because of this. You're not familiar with
I know the song.
Chicago.
From the movie.
You do know the song. Okay, great. It's, for those who don't, it's a song about a man who feels so overlooked, so ignored, that his name might as well be Mr. Cellophane, because you can look right through him. Good movie. And then Spook finally starts chastising himself for bringing up women that he has liked in the past, who rejected him.
You see, just it's not that, like... It's not even just that he brought her up. It's that he goes, I don't know what I was thinking trying to court her. That devalues you. Like, you've taken all that value that she could have taken from, oh, he even tried to court a mistborn. Wow, he's confident, and look how romantic he is. The fact that he goes, I don't know what I was thinking, courting, trying that's not attractive. You've devalued yourself. Like, oh, I don't know what I was thinking. That you literally have just said to her, oh, you know what? That woman over there was too high up for me. I shouldn't have tried. And you know what? I can try with you. You're fine.
And he does think that he should have been just giving orders and looking like he was in charge, presumably to continue that perception as someone that a girl could like.
Yeah.
And here is another brick in what I was trying to emphasize earlier about Ruin's character flaw. If Ruin were here basically saying, yeah, don't open up to her in the way that you just did. Instead, double down on looking powerful and impressive. Doing that, I don't think will work with Beldray.
Yeah.
And thus, if he had the foresight to do that, he could prevent the two of them from getting together and thus prevent Spook choosing Beldray over Ruin. Not in so simple of terms when it actually gets to that point that I assume is coming, but in essence. Beldray says,
I don't think you're forgettable. Of course, I'd be more likely to think fondly of you if you were to let me go.
It's a cute little jab, but the I don't think you're forgettable is, again, sweet. And he promises he will let her go.
Eventually.
She asks if he's going to threaten to kill her, and he says, "Threats like that are hollow if you know you'll never do what you say. Honestly, Beldre, I'm not going to hurt you. In fact, I've got a feeling you'll be safer here than in your brother's palace." So maybe I'm a little dumb. That means he does not intend to threaten to kill her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Because he would never, even if he threatened to kill her, he knows that it's not a real threat because he would never do that. So he's not even going to use that.
Right. Great. It's wonderful that he communicated that, and goodness points for Spook going up for being unwilling to do that. She pleads for Spook to not kill Quellion, and he promises that he will try. I believe that. I do not believe Spook will kill Quellion. I could see Quellion's hubris leading to his own death, but Spook will not be the one to do it.
Unless he's power crazy and he does it.
Yes, but again, I strongly feel that he will reject Ruin by the end of this book. Yeah.
Maybe the thing you know makes you more confident of that, but for me, I feel like it's going to end in disaster for Spook.
No. I would like to believe. I'm fairly confident I would be saying more or less the same things. And he outright says, "I promise to at least try to save your brother, if I can." Good. Explicit. Good.
He says he'll try. So how hard is he going to try, though?
Sure. And then he's pretty confident that the transition in the city will go smoothly, and I wrote, I doubt it. When do things ever go smoothly?
Yeah.
Besides, things have been going too well for Spook for too long. They need to start going downward for a little bit, I think. He wonders what kind of person Beldre is, that she can still trust people after everything. Vin would have stabbed him in the back, and Beldre wants to meet Vin and Elend.
I think it's really important here that he thinks about Vin. Like, yes, we know that Vin is... we ourselves have said Vin is the opposite of Beldre, but it's important that he, seeing as Vin was his previous love interest, if he thinks of Vin. No, Vin wouldn't... Vin is a woman, obviously. Vin wouldn't trust me, and she would stab me in the back. And yeah, that would kind of be the right thing to do because of the streets and whatever. This line of, "It was like finding a beautiful plant growing alone in a field of burnt ash." That's really sweet to show how he really thinks of Beldre and how innocent she is to him.
Very much so. I will make the argument that Vin came to trust.
Yeah. No, of course. But he's just, he's viewing them as... He doesn't know Vin very well, actually. He doesn't know Vin like Elend knows Vin, and yeah.
Yeah, does he really know any of them well? They all overlook him. When would they have had opportunities? And they send him away, and then they disrespect him when he comes back. Justice for Spook. Spook agrees that they sound like interesting people. They have heavy burdens. And he wishes that he were powerful enough to do important work like them. At which point, Beldre laid a hand on his arm, and he glanced down a bit surprised. What? He thinks? Ooh.
Power can be a terrible thing, Spook. I'm not pleased with what it's done to my brother. Don't wish so hard for it.
And that pretty much defines what I feel the rest of the arc will probably be. Him rejecting power.
Well, I feel by the end of this chapter, I feel like he's not going to reject it. It's going to be too seductive. Yeah.
He's going to get pretty close to choosing Ruin, I think. But, well, we'll see. At which point Spook leaves. To be seen, he said, which is a poignant phrase for Spook's whole shtick.
Yeah.
So Spook has come to an agreement with Dern, in which Dern gets primary trade contracts on all the canals and a title from the Emperor. which Spook kind of scoffs at. Spook got clearance with Sazed and Breeze to give him the title, and I wrote in all caps, but Spook doesn't get one?
But he is Lord, isn't he? He's still Lord Spook.
Not only if he inherited it from clubs. I know Sazed calls him Lord Spook, but it was eminently clear in the last book that he didn't have a title. So...
Maybe it's because he hasn't asked for one.
Well, he did ask in the second book. And Alan was like, yeah, you just want it for girls, so no. And when Sazed got into town, Sazed was like, hello, Lord Spook. And Spook, who is so jaded because of his mistreatment, was like, I'm no Lord, Sazed. So you've ruined titles for Spook, Ellen. Are you happy now? I'm being stupid. But I hope it's funny.
It is. It is.
Anyway, the terms of this agreement in Spook's favor is that they're going to wall off the Harrows, which is the populated portion of the canals. Dern will then keep people out of the rest of the canals. And it's excellent that we got this, because we had wondered about it previously. Are they going to drown half the population?
Yeah.
Sounds like they're taking steps to mitigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Whether or not that works out, we'll see. But he does not want the death of half the city's poorest people on his conscience. Good, Spook.
Yeah, Spook, don't you realize you're doing something that is a big work of power, the way that you're talking about Vin and Elend doing big stuff. You have the power, essentially, to have not saved half of the population. That could be on your conscience. That's a lot of power, Spook. That's quite a consequence.
Yep. And then they go off to do essentially what Kelsier did in the first book, go to taverns and meet people and raise his prestige. We get the passage. As always, Spook wore his burned cloak. It had become something of a symbol for him. He'd never worn a mist cloak, but this felt even better. Is that a bit on the nose?
No, I think it's because Spook himself would be that on the nose. It sits with him.
That's fair.
Yeah, he would compare it to a mist cloak because he thinks that way.
True. And he doesn't say too much at the first one. He's just like, hey, liquor's on me tonight, because Quellion uses the liquor to keep you passive, I paraphrase. And that's pretty much it. He doesn't feel as charismatic as Kelsier, so he doesn't say much. He just tries to look attentive and listens to the stories and the hardship, but that's kind of a big part of what Kelsier did.
Yeah, listen. Just ask questions a little bit and let people speak so they feel heard.
Yeah. He drinks, but he doesn't get drunk because of the pewter, and apparently that has added to his mystique. And they do this on and on for quite some time. Through it all, Spook felt an amazing thing, his confidence growing. He really was a little like Kelsier. Vin might have been the one trained by the survivor, but Spook was the one who was doing what he'd done, encouraging the people, leading them to rise up for their own sakes. Careful, Spook. You're not wrong, but a certain sense of, what's the word I'm looking for, Kitty? Not arrogance, not hubris, not divine purpose. I don't even know the word.
Just
like usually
confidence?
When I drop it. No, it's a slightly more negative connotation than confidence. I don't know, but it's the start of that cautious sense, I think, that you're very attuned to, Kitty, with Spook.
Yeah. Self-importance, maybe? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's close. That's close.
Messiah complex.
Yeah. Anyway, the one thing he doesn't do is spread the word that Quellion uses Allomancers. He's letting Breeze take care of that more subtly.
The rumor as well that Quellion himself is an Allomancer. That's the one he doesn't do either.
Oh, yep. Whoop, I misread that one. The rumor that Quellion is an Allomancer, or was. And I think that's wise. The justification is that it would make Spook seem a touch insecure in his quest to bring Quellion down.
Yeah,
a bit too much.
And it makes it more believable. It's like, no, it's not coming from his arch enemy. It's coming from other people.
Yeah. Later on in the night, folks are cheering Spook, and Dern says, "To the death of the citizen, down with the man who said he'd let us rule, then took it all for himself." First off, the fact that Dern is calling for the death of the citizen kind of elevates that sense of danger as far as Spook's relationship with Beldre goes, because he said he's going to try to save him, or rather not kill him, or have him killed, and yet here he is campaigning on the death of Quellion.
Yep.
And he even goes on to think, and he's starting to get very tired, "I wonder what Beldre would think if she saw this. The men cheering me, she'd be impressed, wouldn't she? She'd forget how I droned on about how useless I was."
Instead of thinking, I wonder what Beldre would think, I just toasted to the death of her brother.
Exactly. And that's why it is so important for Ruin to be like, yes, that is a correct thought, Spook. Yes, I know he can't read his thoughts,
Thank
but
God.
He should be smart enough to observe the budding relationship, understand the potential danger. I guess it's just not in his nature to. He's incapable of understanding.
Yeah, because he would go, oh, well, you see, Spook, what he would see is Spook is toasting to the death of the citizen. So clearly he likes the girl, but not that much. It's not that he would put plans in jeopardy for the girl. Whatever.
Right. But Spook is so primed to believe that things that wouldn't help with Beldre would. So
yeah, because he literally does. He does right here, I think, because he's so worried about him droning on about how useless he is. He's so worried about bringing that up. So he's like, oh, yeah, look here. And I think that the juxtaposition of, bro, that's not what you would think about. You just toasted to the death of the brother. Like, that makes me very worried for him, because he's just not thinking straight. And yeah, he is tired.
Agreed.
He's got a depleted social battery. His body's fine, but Spook actually isn't used to so much human interaction.
Yeah. And he's pretty tired. And even Dern notices. Spook is looking out of it, and he writes it off to Dern as he just has a lot on his mind.
Or he also, there's this paragraph about that he wishes he was doing something else. So he's obviously thinking of being with Beldre and speaking to her more and all of that. But then he's like, he dismisses the good things that she thinks, because he's like, oh, well, no, she's just being nice to me because she wants me to let her go. It's not, it's not real. But then he still keeps thinking of the conversation, which is just, it's the crush. That's what you do with your crush. You wonder, go through the conversation over and over again, play it through, be like, oh, how did it go? Did it go really bad? Did it go good? And then you just want to talk to them more, to play the game more, to win more points, I suppose. Yeah.
Very much so. Crush Spook. We get the passage. Some things about his conversation with Beldre bothered Spook more than his own stupid comments. She seemed to truly be worried by the things that her brother had done. When Spook was in power, would she see him as she did Quellion? Would that be a bad thing or a good thing? She already said they were similar. Power can be a terrible thing. So he's receptive to her point of view on the matter.
But he's the fact that he's questioning that she would she, when Spook, obviously that line when Spook himself was in power, it's like, oh, okay, Spook, I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, we've decided. And I thought Spook, I thought everybody else was in power and you were just doing what other people weren't doing, weren't interested in doing. So now it actually seems like you actively do want power. Interesting. And would that be a bad thing or a good thing? So there's still questions around it. But yes, it's good that he lands on the power can be a terrible thing thought, but then he goes past it.
Yep. He looks at the people, at the adulation. Wasn't it a good thing to be liked? To have people willing to follow him? Break away from the old Spook, stop being that boy who was insignificant and forgotten, be respected. So he's really, really tempted by all the things that he has ever wanted. And Kelsier tells him, they love you. You deserve it. So that temptation is very much there. I'm always a little leery of stories that say the thing you think you want isn't necessarily the thing that you want. Yes, I know that in writing, there's like the want and the need kind of a thing, but I reject the idea that just because you want certain things, and sometimes those things are superficial, it is bad to have them, or you somehow shouldn't have them. Yes, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely type of a thing, but it's nice to be liked and adored and feel important and in charge of important things. I don't think that getting what you want is always a bad thing.
No, not at all. But I think the message here is that when that overcomes everything, that need for it, when external validation is all you're looking for, that's not a good thing. That's insecure power. That's insecure confidence. It's dangerous confidence, because you can fall prey to just external factors. You don't actually have a center, a proper self-worth that holds you down when the rest of the world comes at you. And that is what Spook is. He wants the confidence and all of that stuff, but he doesn't let himself actually grow a foundation. He thinks that just getting the adoration and the respect of others, that will make him better. Like it's spoke in the way he thinks of transforming into from the boy into the man. He'll get rid of the old Spook. The thing is, you don't get rid of your past self. Your past self is you, and then grows. You don't erase a previous self. You've always got that made you who you are. So this idea of, I'll just be the better Spook and whatever, he completely hates all of the stuff he was before, as opposed to, no, there's value in this and this and this. This is what I learned. This is how I dealt with this stuff. So it's all of that stuff is not in him, and that is really insecure, and that's what's worrying, because you've got Ruin in his head going, yeah, you'll get everything you want. Absolutely. Look at this. You deserve it. And he feels good. And that's all the confirmation he needs, because wow, we just get words from Kelsier. It's cool.
Yep. There is potential danger ahead.
Yeah.
Anything else to say, Kitty?
Like the video.
If you like, Spook has a very tough decision ahead, to kill Quellion or not to kill Quellion. But you've got an easy decision to hit the like button.
Do it!
Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to that Don Kitte if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel.
Subscribe to this channel, because you already know it's great.
It would be greatly appreciated, and we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.